Good evening. Good to see everybody. We now call the meeting of the Liberty County Board of Commissioners to order. Mr. Brown, has the meeting been properly advertised? Yes. Thank you so much, sir. At this time, we'll ask our Assistant County Administrator, Mr. Mosley, to lead us in our prayer and a pledge of allegiance. Please stand.
Let us pray. Gracious God, we thank you for all your blessings, and we thank you for the rain that you send our way. Thank you for all that you do for us on a daily basis. We pray now, Father God, that you would give this deliberate body the wisdom and insight as they transact the business community. We pray that you be with them always. And Father, before we close, we'd like to pause and pray for our beloved firefighters. We pray that you'll be with their families and strengthen them. These and all other blessings we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to see who else is slipping down.
Yeah, I just want to say, I know I didn't mention to Reverend Mosley while he was up there, but let's keep the Bradwell Band in prayer while they're on their trip to Washington, D.C. I think it was 103 students that left. So let's keep them, that they have a safe trip up there and back.
Okay. Thank you, sir. All right.
And along with that, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say we need to keep the Second Smith family in our thoughts and prayers. He served here.
Yeah, he did.
For my brief period of absence.
Mm-hmm.
And he served with Commissioner Stevens. So I didn't realize he was as sick as he was till I went there during the election. So just keep him in your prayers.
Yeah.
He was an educator in this community and actually done a lot of other things. I think he was really involved with the record retention building, wasn't he?
He was.
But we're losing a lot of good people.
Yeah. And I know he was my 12th grade government teacher. I know, did you have him at 12th grade?
No, I had Miss Wisdom.
Yeah, well.
See, I was an A student, second on the C class.
Thank you.
Maybe that's the other way around.
Thank you for that clarification. Our prayers are with all of those. Thank you all for remembering those people who have served our community in one way or the other. Approval of the minutes for June.
So moved.
Second.
Motion
So
second.
moved.
We approve the June 4th and June 20th minutes. Any further discussion? All in favor, show of hands, please. Minutes are approved. Thank you. We'll move right along this evening. Departmental reports. Ms. Sanchez. Well, I see a lot of yellow signs around the community again there.
We have 11 items on the next agenda.
Painting the town yellow. No.
No, the next planning commission meeting, zoning actions, 11 applications.
So all,
Anyhow, good evening, Chairman
Good evening.
and Commissioners. Not too long ago, I presented the preliminary plat for Cottages on Carter Phase 1. We're now here ready to final plat Phase 1A. The developer is Walterville Properties, LLC, and the engineer designed the project is MESAC Engineering. This first final plat will have 39 lots, single-family homes. It is zoned R12 and is approximately 39 acres being platted. On the total parcel is 163, and it is located on Bill Carter Road in District 1. This is the, can you hear me okay? This is the total parcel that Walterville Properties owns. We obviously, Oglethorpe here, Bill Carter, and then Lewis Frazier down here. The preliminary plat was in what's outlined roughly in area in red here, and then the Phase 1A is approximately what's shown here in yellow. There are two sheets to this plat. The first one shows the lots, and I've just done some coloring to identify the 29 lots. We have Cottage Loop here, the start of the first road, Cottage Loop, and then we have Stone Court is the longer road here, and what's in red are the 29 lots. There are temporary dead ends at the end, at each of these, because this road will continue in future phases. Also being platted, in addition to the single-family homes, we have 2 green space lots. They're about a little over an acre total. This one is all wetlands. This one has wetlands in the back, but there is some upland here that's going to have the mailbox kiosk. And the blue area here is the drainage area. I think it's about a 6-acre pond. And the green and the blue areas are being dedicated to the HOA, so they will own the properties. The blue area also is, the drainage area has a drainage easement that's being dedicated to the county for functional maintenance of the pond. These blue lines are also drainage easements. They convey the stormwater from the street to the pond, and those are easements being dedicated to the county as well. This blue line down here is a temporary easement because the overflow from this pond comes down over to here. This will be relinquished as a temporary easement when this area is final platted. It'll become a permanent easement. It may change location or direction at that point, but for right now, it's a temporary easement. And then the second sheet to this final plat has the signature blocks and all the parcel information. So you may recall the lot requirements. The UDO has the Unified Development Ordinance, UDO, has one set of standards for R12 zoning, but because these lots are going to be served, have on-site septic systems, the Georgia rules of on-site sewage management systems has their own rules, which are more restrictive, so they govern. So instead of having a 12,000 square foot minimum lot size and 80-foot width, they're required to be half an acre and 100 feet wide to satisfy the on-site septic rules. The UDO, for the R12 zoning, it's standard zoning, has a front setback of 25 feet, rear is 20, and then the side setbacks are indicated there. As a condition of the zoning reapproval, are required to have a 40-foot setback from Bill Carter Road, which these lots all meet those standards. So in addition to the dedications for the drainage easements, the county is also being dedicated 0.63 miles of new streets. We have that short entrance road is Cottage Loop, 553 feet, and then you have the portion of Stone Court, which is just about a half mile. And then those water and stormwater improvements and the easements that I mentioned. And then, again, just reiterating the dedications to the HOA are those green space and wetland tracts and that detention pond. So the utilities have been installed, the water and stormwater, and the installation of the remaining improvements are guaranteed by letters of credit. We do have them in hand. The county building and licensing department received them last week. And so the first one for the primary improvements is $176,640. And for the secondary improvements, that letter of credit is in the amount of $159,120. And we also, the county does have in hand the 2-year maintenance letter of credit in the amount of $118,155.60. So the staff recommendation is approval of the final plat for the Cottages on Carter, Phase 1A with standard conditions. And we have here a representative from MESAC Engineering. If you have any questions for either me or him, I'd be happy to answer them.
Yes, sir.
Go back to your drawing.
That show the lots or the easements?
Lot.
Mhm.
Where's the cemetery at?
I don't believe the cemetery was in the preliminary plat.
I'm just asking, where is that from here?
Like, if you want to. The green dot on top.
Okay, so it's in the next phase, kind of that area, larger area in between the lots, where we've provided about 150 foot on each side from all evidence of headstones.
So you're not gonna do anything with that until you get to that phase?
Correct.
Go back to your drainage. The one that's coming out, will any of this runoff go toward the Peacock Canal?
Yes, sir. All the water will ultimately end up in the Peacock Canal. As you can see from kind of the shade of blue, the lowest part on this property would be the southwest kind of portion where the wetlands are present. So what we've done now is kind of the pond in the middle is at final grade. There's actually going to be another pond, which would be just kind of north of that cemetery area we were just discussing. And these ponds will be interconnected. And then after that, there'll be a third pond kind of in the bottom left corner where you see it. That'd be the ultimate discharge of the property.
And this was what, what's the distance of the road that you want to deed to the, want the county to take over?
Under this cover, it's, I think, 0.6 miles.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You are our county engineer.
Yes, sir. So, the inspections for most of the work come through the building inspections department. Those were all completed and completed successfully. So everything seems to be in order and everything seems to be installed in accordance with the approved plans. So we reviewed the record drawings, and I had my inspectors go out and check everything, and everything is as it should be. And we also reviewed the bond amounts to make sure we were all covered as well.
And these bonds, Mr. Joey and Mr. Chairman, is for what, 2 years?
Maintenance bond is for 2 years. The primary bond is for a year or until they get the required improvements installed. And the secondary is for 2 years.
It's
Same.
extendable.
It's extendable. And they all extend, automatically every year until they're released.
So if something happens to the road in the third year.
As long as we haven't released the bond, we should have a bond to be able to fix it.
But we've been pretty well releasing most of them within 2 years, right?
Yes, sir.
Gonna go-
And that's the deal. I mean, they have to warrant it for 2 years. So at the end of the 2 years, if it's still in good shape, then, we're obligated to release the bond.
But at the end of the 2 years,
Yes, we do.
the HOA is still functioning, so it's their responsibility?
The functional maintenance of the roads and for the drainage.
How broad is that term, my friend?
So the functional, that means we take care of what, is functional. So that water goes through the pipes,
Okay.
that water goes through the
Okay.
ponds. We're not
Okay.
responsible for
Patching and
cutting the
resurfacing.
ditches or things like that.
Okay.
For your roadway, if we got a roadway patch, yes, we do have to do the
We have to do
roadway
that.
patches.
Okay.
So that is our functional maintenance of
Okay.
the roadway.
But once again, prior to accepting that responsibility, we make sure everything is up to,
Yes, sir. We always do an inspection at the end of the maintenance bond period before we turn the loop. Before we turn the bond loose,
okay.
they didn't want to come out. We schedule a on-site inspection, and everybody walks the whole project to make sure everything is good before we turn it over.
Okay. Now, since this is going to be phased in, so the bond covers this first phase one, whatever we're going to call it here, and
Right.
then we'll phase all the others in as they come along.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. So if he gets through there and, say, 6 months from now, he's ready for phase two, then we'll have another whole set of bonds that will
Okay.
accommodate phase two.
Okay.
And then when he gets through with phase one, we'll release the bonds for phase one as he gets done with the phase one.
Yeah.
Right, the roadside, is it gonna be roadside ditches or curb and gutter?
Curb and gutters out there already.
And so we would, the sweeping, That would be the county or the HOA?
Yeah, the county or HOA, yes, sir.
Well,
Most
I know
likely
it's
the
gonna be
county,
one-
the
one
HOA
or
is
the
not
other,
gonna have a
but
sweeper machine.
Which is it? You say the county or the HOA?
It should be the county.
Should be the county? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
With that being said, on this subdivisions and others, the Public Works Department is being overloaded. We need to take a look at that Public Works Department because we've constantly add subdivision with stormwater drainage and roadside and road curving.
Yes, sir.
So we just can't be up here and approving stuff and not looking further down the road.
Yes, sir. I'm not sure where he stands with his street sweeper. So we've had one that's been in ear repair, but I'm not sure if we've
it's
replaced
up
it or
and
anything
running.
like that.
I made a note, I've already made it.
Yeah.
Well, as well as the right machine to clean tight easements.
Yes, that's right.
Trent and Jerry, I almost need Jeff here. Commissioners, as the county grows and these kind of subdivisions are done countywide, and as I mentioned, riding around today, going to Liberty and riding around the weekend, have to be on the east end a pretty good bit. I just saw all those yellow signs all around, not just in town, but all around. So the county is obviously on a growing spurt, no doubt about that. So when we look at these and other projects, are our ordinances where they should be at this time? We could have been a little more lenient, is that a good word, in the past because we didn't have all this growth. But now that it's growing exponentially, do we need to look at, is that something that you do, or you just kind of flow with it until something happens and you try to react?
No, I think the ordinances that we have for development you're seeing are sufficient, because all of those, most of those, the troubles that occur are related to the drainage and
Yeah.
topo and things like Trent's talking about.
Yeah.
Those have been brought up to date. I think you're in good shape.
I'm in good shape. And I'm reminded of communities like Hilton Head, and how they have those strict rules about what can and what can't happen in places like that. So even when I look at, you mentioned giving the green spaces, so we have some green spaces that kind of tied in wetlands. So is it just a green space just sits there?
Why?
Or in Hilton Head, would they ask the developer to put playground equipment there?
Follow what you're thinking.
Yeah. So are we operating in 1982 versus what we're seeing here in 2024 when things are changing on a daily basis? Not that I'm trying to in any way curtail, stall development,
No, I understand
But
that. Yeah,
Joey would
so-
say I'm getting too deep in the weeds, but that's my thought process. Are where we need to be when it comes to what's going on now in 2024 in Liberty County, Georgia. Yeah. Just thinking out loud.
Yeah, I guess that's something the commissioners talk about, is if you want to start requiring improvements to green space.
Yeah.
And then I guess you get back, to, obviously, the developer would fund those.
Yeah.
But then who upkeeps them?
Yeah.
Right, so, just a lot of work out there.
Or is it an opportunity for the county then to put playground equipment there for the people that live in that neighborhood? And do we
Right.
collaborate some kind of how,
But if subdivisions like this have HOAs, majority of the time, the HOA will cover all of that anyway.
Yeah.
So that won't even fall under the
yeah,
county.
That's right, you just have to write it like you want it to occur, right?
Yeah.
And they would just build that into the HOA
yeah,
requirement,
yeah,
provide it, update it, it's just something you gotta think about.
yeah.
My first house I bought in Atlanta, it had green space and they were supposed to put a playground. We could probably go there today and still got a playground there.
Yeah.
So, so even if we do put an ordinance in place, we have to make sure that it has teeth, make sure that
Yeah.
that they stay up and
Yeah.
do what they.
And I heard some friends in your district complaining about HOA and fees and all that kind of stuff, so I know there can be
If I'm,
It's a gift and a curse
contentious,
with
yeah.
HOAs.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Martin?
yeah, so if, under standard zoning like this one, it's R12 or R8 or whatever it is,
Yeah.
there is no requirement for green space in the subdivisions. However, we really beefed up the PUD requirements for green space. They have to have passive green space, they have to have recreational green space, the amount, they have a minimum amount they have to provide.
Okay.
And then they also have to, a minimum size for, like, one of them has to be at least like 10,000 square feet, which I know isn't much, but it's a start. And so where you're gonna see that, up where we should be in the 21st century with that kind of development standards is only really with PUDs,
Yeah, okay.
the things you're looking for. And it's if you have a funded HOA, because then the HOA has to be able to maintain those facilities. Yep.
Ms. Sanchez?
Yes.
Another thought for the future. I'm running into it, and I think Commissioner Jones is running into the same issue now. Some of these subdivisions, the roads are being released to the county. We're getting now requests for speed bumps.
Oh, like crazy. In town too?
And, I mean, can that be factored in on some of these subdivisions?
Yes. So we did, I don't know, a couple months ago, maybe longer, we had to update the UDO countywide to meet the current international fire codes. And part of what they require is, we added in traffic calming devices, I'm sorry. Our UDO does include for any subdivision, whether it's a PUD or standard zoning, they have to consider traffic calming devices, which could be speed humps, it could be islands in the middle of the road, that kind of make people slow down as they go around them. That is a required feature that they are supposed to build into these subdivisions or speed humps. If they do speed humps, then the National Fire Code says you have to get approval from your fire marshal or fire chief for the location of them. Yep. But yes, so that is factored in. That's always been in the UDO that they have to consider
Last
traffic
question.
calming. Sure.
Last question. The fire hydrants out there, have they actually been tested, pressure tested yet?
Yeah, that's a.
Yes, sir. I do know that Andy went out there and did the 24-hour pressure chart, or not 24-hour, the 2-hour pressure test, because they're required to pump it up to 150 PSI, and it has to sit there for 2 hours and not lose any. So that's already been done. As far as, turn on a fire hydrant and see how much water's coming out of it, no, sir. But when we do release the pressure, it is done with a fire hydrant, usually at the end of the line, to make sure that there's plenty of water coming out of there, and we did have ample water for this job.
Which in that should be around 26, 28?
Oh, yes, sir.
PSI?
You had at least 20 PSI out there.
All right. Okay, I'll hold you responsible.
Yes, sir.
Marty, when you talk about the PUD, I know we just approved the unified ordinance countywide. So the PUD requirements are the same whether they're in municipality versus municipality, doesn't matter where it is, same requirement.
I would say 98% of the requirements are the same across the board, whether it's unincorporated or any of the municipalities. The Hinesville did request certain things in their design requirements for subdivisions, like the grade of the road, gutter spread, things like that the county opted not to require, because the Hinesville's requirements were more restrictive. So, but the basics are all there. 98% of the requirements are all the same, regardless of where you are within the county.
All right. And this has become a very popular option for developers to build the PUDs.
Well, they were until the UDO I don't know if we've approved a new PUD since the rezoned for a PUD since the UDO has been adopted. Because they have to provide a lot more information. I mean, the way the PUD is set up is they have like a list of 13 things they can do. They have to do 7 of them, and they can be things like having extra green space, or they can have, a landscaped entrance into the property. So they have options, but they have to do at least 7 of them, and there are things that make the community a better community, or make it better for the municipality that it's in. Yeah.
Yeah. So Trent, if they were here now, they would say, this is enough?
Yes, sir. far as the PUD requirements go, most of them have been like, we have to do all of this?
Yeah.
And so, yes, sir, we haven't drawn up or seen anything come as a PUD in Liberty County since the UDO came in effect.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I think several other communities are kind of looking at what we have to try to help implement in their area as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times PUDs were getting to be used inappropriately instead of using the residential zones. So this kind of makes things a little bit more level playing field.
Yeah. And once again, I'm not trying to stall any kind of development, but I just think, you know, if you're gonna have green space, let it be usable green space. You know, not just,
Right.
yeah, if you're gonna have a, how many acre water hole?
Right, and that's what the PUD does. It specifies
That's
your
a-
open space, and
Let-
it has to be
Put fish in it.
recreational. Yeah, right, and that's one of the
Put benches
options.
around it, you know?
Right, and that's one of the options that they have, and I think is they can provide, you know, like a deck
Yeah.
with the platform for kids
Yeah,
to fish or
something.
people to fish into
Yeah.
these drainage ponds, you
That's-
know.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, and part of.
I'm gonna
the-
get in trouble, they're gonna be calling me and saying, man, what you doing? Yeah.
And, you know, part of also why we did this, as Trent said, I mean, we kind of felt that the PUD, the way it was set up before the UDO was kind of being taken advantage of. The developers were asking for smaller and smaller lots with not giving anything back in return. So now, if they want to ask for smaller lots than what standard zoning requires, they got to give something back. And to make it more of a community and not just, you know, a place to live with streets and houses and nothing else.
All right. Sounds like I may need to come see your board,
Absolutely.
have some discussion, all right? Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
I'm sorry.
I mean, this builder, this is not his first rodeo.
Oh, no,
here.
no, no. He does well,
He
yeah.
Does a very good
Yeah,
job
yeah.
with what he's got here.
Mhm.
And I guess when we approved this preliminary plat, was there supposed to be more houses in this? Had they cut it down?
So the preliminary plat covered, I think it was 89 houses, if I'm correct. 69 houses. And so they want to get building on part of those houses, and so they've done improvements. They're just going to do probably a second phase that'll cover the remaining 30 lots. Yeah.
So then the next thing we'll see probably, I mean, that many people, they're probably not gonna drive all the way back in the Hinesville shop. They're gonna be going somewhere on 84 between Midway and Flemington.
I think they come into Hinesville. I think they come into Hinesville.
I think they're
Well, I
going
don't
to
know,
Richmond
I
Hill.
mean, you've got it, I mean, Hinesville's moving through Flemington like a wildfire. So,
And that's why we need to go ahead and implement the Economic Development Authority
Yeah.
for this reason. But
But I think you're right, but I think for the immediate situation, they probably couldn't handle, but you're right, as more rooftops go up, more commercial will follow, and
well, the only thing I'm saying is we know what the whole county is strapped at right now. Where our number one
yeah,
priority is water.
yeah.
So we may be seeing it down that way more than we will anywhere else. That's just my thinking, but it's Commissioner Stevens' area.
We ready, sir?
One final question, make sure. On the speed bumps, humps, whatever, you said they are in this plan?
No, they're not.
No.
As far as. Yeah, so one of the traffic calming things you can do is you can have four-way stops, and I think that's what Elliot said. There's
At every intersection, they'll be stopping from all directions.
all directions, and that forces people to stop at least, you know, so there's,
You talking about a point?
so like right
5,
here.
6?
I'm sorry?
Talking about a 0.56 miles?
Yeah, so they'll, like, for here, this will eventually be a four-way stop, or maybe three-way. And, you know, this will be a three-way stop, this will be a three-way stop. That makes, so that doesn't give a whole lot of room for people to speed up
Want to bet?
and keep, well, I know, they can speed up at 200 feet, but, right, but it deters it, because they can't really go too far at the speeds they want to.
Chairman, that's something that, well, if you go talk with them, that's something that we need to look at. Speed deterrence.
traffic calming, I think is the official term they call it.
Slow down.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'm ready to make a
Okay,
motion.
all right, sir.
Make a motion that we approve the recommendation from LCPC on the Cottage of Carter, Phase 1A.
Second.
Motion and second, we approve the Cottages on Carter, Phase 1, as presented with the standard conditions. I got to read it, okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, show of hands, please.
One abstention.
One abstention, all right. But just please take, they may be listening, take back that they're looking forward, we just need to discuss, well, since Trent said PUDs are kind of going away because of the requirements, but any major developments that they do, that they have certainly green space, let's try to be cognizant of proper utilization, practical utilization of the green spaces.
So regardless of what the zoning is, whether it's PUD or standard zoning, having a
Yeah,
green space
just a
requirement.
recommendation, yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask Marty, have y'all went over the new Georgia laws on the HOA? I know they come into effect the 1st of July.
I haven't. Jeff might have. I can't speak for him.
I just remember seeing something that the governor signed that circles around HOAs, that there, a lot of them, I guess, were looking at county governments participating in some of the work, and this new law may have it spread out to where they have to look after themselves. I hadn't read it that much, but I do believe it's gonna be a change to,
How they can operate.
yeah, how they break it down, paying dues and stuff
Oh,
like that.
okay. Mm-hmm.
I know we had questions like at a couple of times about who's gonna put in the street lights. Are they gonna be county lights or city lights? I think a HOA, they put them all in themselves. And it goes through, they pay on them. So anyhow, maybe you, Jeff, will
Yep.
enlighten us on some of the new laws involving that.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'll bring that up. Thank you.
That's
All
all I had.
right.
Thank you, Marty.
All set. Thank you.
Appreciate you. EMA, Mr. Dodd. And Tripp.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Mr. Brown, Mr. Mosley, good evening. Come tonight with a MOA between Liberty County, Baldwin County, Department of Human Services, Department of Public Health, the Red Cross, and GEMA. The purpose of the MOA, sir, and Commissioners, is define the roles and responsibilities required for establishing shelters for critical transportation needs within Liberty County. So we started this project about 2 years ago, a bunch of meetings where they want the coastal counties to partner with inland county for sheltering in case we have to evacuate, not just for a tropical storm or another emergency. We got paired with Baldwin County. We've had a couple meetings with Baldwin County with their EMA director. They're on board with it. And you can see some of the responsibilities from Liberty County EMA to Baldwin County. Tripp and I, we're on line with that. And when we talk critical transportation need, it's not an open shelter, it's critical transportation needs. So everybody that we evacuate on the Board of Education school buses, that's where they're going to go. Baldwin County, we went up and looked at the shelter facility. It's a Red Cross approved shelter. So Red Cross, Department of Public Health, Department of Human Services are going to be operating that shelter whenever we evacuate. We'll go to Baldwin County to a designated location. Every year we'll update the plan and make sure there's no issues and where we move forward with that. As far as cost-wise, we don't see a cost-wise because it'll be a declaration before we evacuate. So therefore, hopefully, when we get declared, we'll get reimbursed if there's any costs incurred. But they assured us that Red Cross, because they're going to be running facilities, it's not going to be a cost to us. That shelter holds 397 residents for that. The last time we evacuated, we're averaging about 150 So that's what number we'll go with. It'll also include our functional medical needs on our hurricane registry. Right now, we have 5 on that registry right now. I don't want to put out the address. If you look at the last page on the scope of work, that's the address of the building. And the reason why I don't want to put it out is because we don't want people, residents of Liberty County, driving up there. We want to know. And what we'll do, once we go to the Schumann Center, we put them on the school bus, and then we'll call Baldwin County and we'll put it in WebEOC. That way, Wayne Johnson, he's the EMA director up there in Baldwin County. He knows what's coming to him, and he's prepared for that based on phone calls before we even execute that. If we see something that's going to maybe impact us, we're making those phone calls now, and then as we get closer, we'll execute. I recommend approval. I know Baldwin County goes July 16th in front of their Board of Commissioners, and then it'll go to the state to get all them, the Human Service and Public Health and the Red Cross to sign it. Subject to any questions?
Mr. Dodd, Mr. Chairman, I have one question. Will there be another county going to that location too, or we don't know yet? Or just
No, ma'am.
Liberty?
No, ma'am. If you look on, what is it? Exhibit 2A, we're the only county
We're
going
the
to
only
Baldwin
county
County.
going to that one.
It's got it broke down like Bryan, Camden, Chatham, Effingham, Glen, and Liberty, McIntosh. They're the ones that are partnered with different counties. And then you got Chandler, Tiff, Bibb, Montgomery, Coffee, Baldwin, and Dodge. Them are the counties that we're going to send people to from the coastal counties.
Closest city in Baldwin County is,
Sir?
closest city in Baldwin.
Milledgeville. There were, Tripp and I went up there and seen it. We took 16 and 441. 441 goes right in there. Yes, sir.
Keep going down 441. Just keep going.
It's gonna be a beautiful highway when they get it finished.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Mr. Chair, I just have a quick question for Councilman Dye. What's going on?
How you doing, sir?
All right. How were the counties picked? Was it because of?
They tried to go with the same
Population?
size population, and then the
Right.
facilities that they have there to handle that. Because they asked me the last couple times that we have evacuated, what was our total number? And I gave them the 150 to 200. So that shelter that we're going to is 397. So that
Okay.
gives us a little fluctuation on that.
Understood. And I'm just looking at Chatham County and Bibb. You know, why would they connect them? I guess because what Bibb County has
They got-
a larger facility.
They got larger facilities, and I'm wanting to say, don't hold me to this, but I'm wanting to say Chatham County has got 2 counties that they're trying to.
Thank you.
The partner with.
Those are, our neighbors. I was just wondering because Chatham County going up to Bibb County, that's kind of
Yeah.
their evacuation because, of course, well, if it gets that bad, that's some.
And if our numbers go up, where they won't be able to hold that, we can call the state and see where else we can use also too.
And can y'all remind me, when was the last year we had to do the evacuation? Was that 16, 18?
17, sir.
17?
Yes, sir. Hurricane Irma, we evacuated, I think it was 152.
Right, okay. All right. And,
Remember that?
man, that's a long time ago, man. I'm getting old.
Well, y'all make sure y'all get his number so when they evacuate, you can call him.
Yes, sir.
But days heading up,
Yeah, I
you'll be
need
late
that.
for the bus.
Yeah, man. And just another question, Mr. Chair. If you look at page 25, I'm just wondering, and if you look at under G.
Under
it
what
says
number? What
G,
letter?
It says boycott of the nation of Israel prohibited. I just didn't understand how this got into the. Is this common in a memorandum?
Required state language, because the state's a party to the agreement.
What?
So, yeah, so the state and or feds
Hey, man.
inserted geography, inserted language.
I guess we know where the money resides. There we go.
Yeah. Mr. Dodd.
Sir.
I'm sorry, you done, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm good.
When you mentioned about not publicizing the address, I'm thinking if I'm one of the John Doe citizens, maybe very few, that opt to drive rather than take the bus, so.
Case-by-case situation, sir. We can work something, but we don't want the general public just to evacuate to that shelter. This memorandum is, this facility is just for our critical transportation needs from Liberty County.
Yeah.
So we want to have, they need a ride out of the county, they need transportation out of the county, so we have it where we're tracking them better. That's what that is for.
I understand you don't want us transporting 150 and then 150 driving.
Yes, sir,
Then all of a
exactly.
sudden.
And we'll put out, as we always do, we'll put out open shelters for general population. Yes, sir.
Okay, because you know, that comes up every year, because they think we have a shelter, they always do. Yeah, so the question will come, where is the shelter, and then we say.
We will put that, once the state starts opening up shelters inland, we'll put that out on our social media, yes, sir.
Yeah. Here again is education.
Yes, sir.
The importance
yes,
of
sir.
education.
And you know, this year we've done 18 community briefs too, so we're getting
18?
Yes, sir.
I've been busy.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
In that same thought about leaving, who looks after the patients in the hospital? Would they be included, or do they go, they'll have to go, some of them probably by ambulance?
Yes, sir. So we have the hurricane registry. So you got the functional medical registry, that somebody that can function, but they're on that registry. And then you got the critical patients that need to go, whether it be by ambulance or what. And then they're going, if they're on that registry, they're going to go to Foresight, and that's where that hospital, like a makeshift hospital, is going to be. The hospital, if they have to evacuate their patients, then that'll work through the state. Hey, you're going to send the patients to to this facility.
You talk about the people that would leave on the bus, could possibly have family in the hospital, and you know, you'll have those folks separated. So I know that you got to put all this stuff out ahead of time, you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, and that's why we tell the residents to get on that registry. If you remotely let the Department of Public Health make that decision whether you qualify to be on that registry, that way we can track you and we know, hey, we're going to need ambulance for this X, Y, and Z, or X, Y, and Z is going to get on the bus because it's a functional medical.
Would you talk a little bit about the nursing home?
There you go.
So the nursing home, we've talked to the nursing home. They have a excellent plan. They don't have no needs from us as of right now. They have a plan. They're Ameris, Georgia is their headquarters. They have their whole evacuation buses already lined up. They don't have no needs from us. But if they do have the shelter in place, they do have a standby generator down there. So, I don't see any need for us as of right now.
And if I remember correctly, Commissioner Walden, at the hospital, if you're ambulatory, which means you can get around, then the doctors are cued into on the news, and so they start ahead of time to make plans with the families, to allow the family members most times to take their family members, either able to go home or able to go family members to an evacuation site.
I think it was 2016. We had a patient got discharged from the hospital, came in the hospital gown to the evacuation point, and we evacuated him out.
Yeah. My concern got nothing to do with this, is those people who opt to stay back. And I remember what was that, Joe, when they were calling us for water?
The biggest thing, if we do order evacuation, we just everybody's got to realize we don't want to put public safety at a risk.
Yeah.
So we say we're going to evacuate. When we get them winds, sustained winds of 35 to 40 miles an hour, public safety is going to cease, so you're going to be on your own. That's why it's important to heed the evacuation orders.
Okay, so if I'm a citizen and I need the availability of a shelter because I'm not going to Holiday Inn Express, I need to meet you at Schumann Rec?
The Schumann Rec Center, yes,
you're going to get me to?
We will put that out when we all decide that we're going to evacuate it. This time, we'll try to put that out 24 hours ahead of time, and then we'll open up the Schumann Center 2 hours prior, where we can make sure everybody's manifested, sign in with your name, and make sure you got emergency contact, and then we'll put you on a school bus we will send that to Baldwin County along with putting it in WebEOC so the state is tracking how many people we're shipping out of Liberty County to Baldwin County. Then we'll execute it that way. Like I said, they'll go to 16 and then 441.
Okay, when the evacuation is lifted, then you'll do
So when
just,
evacuation's lifted, they're not going to release, Baldwin County's not going to release them until they hear from us to come back. And we're going to make sure that our damage assessment teams has already been out throughout the county, done all the assessments, and it's safely for them to come back to residents.
okay. Sounds like a plan.
Yes, sir.
We don't have to use it.
Yeah, but, and I'm glad you said that, Commissioner Fred. Because I was told, you know, this is supposed to be a pretty active hurricane season, correct?
Yes, sir. Very active hurricane season. They've never made predictions. You know, they always make predictions. They never made a prediction this high of this year. And the water is so warm. They're saying it's September warm right now.
Yeah.
As you can see, you got Hurricane Beryl out there right now. They said that it's already, they've never had a Category 5 this early in the season down in the Atlantic. So it is starting off very active, yes, sir.
All right, well, we appreciate what you do. Mr. Chair, you need a motion?
I need a motion.
Oh, okay. All right, I just want to make the motion that we approve the, what would you call this? The MOU between, I need to name all of them? Between Liberty County, Baldwin County,
just say-
Georgia Department of Human Services, Georgia Department of Public Health, the American Red Cross of Georgia, and the Georgia Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency.
Did you get it all? Motion and a second. All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, show of hands, please. All right.
Thank you.
Once again, our desire is that we don't have to use it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we use it. Thank y'all again for what you do. Keep on saying. Mr. Long.
I think you've already asked 40 or 10 questions. Okay, the first item that I have tonight is Islands Highway Box Culvert. As you recall, a couple of months ago, we took bids on the box culvert. The price came in at $1.9 million. On the bid, there was a cofferdam optional, and Liberty County chose to not use that as optional. So shortly after you guys awarded the contract, we notified the very next day, we sent an email to the contractor that it was awarded without the optional item. And we got an immediate response back that, hey, there's miscommunication on what the optional item was and what optional meant. So basically, you have in the bottom of your package a letter like this from me. It shouldn't be my monthly report, but it should be in the bottom. Basically, what they interpreted, if you look on the back page, let me give you a little background. You'll see the highlighted in yellow says that cofferdam is optional. So what they interpreted that is that was an optional method of construction for them to choose versus not choose. So when we notified them that we had opted not to use the optional cofferdam, they thought it was their choice, not the commissioners, and they notified us, hey, we can't build the project without the cofferdam. Can't physically do it. So that leaves us with a couple of different options, none of which are the best. One option is, you know, the contractor could take the project at a loss of $600,000, which that won't be good for us because then we'd have an underperforming, undermotivated contractor on a very critical project. So we didn't feel like that was a good option for us. You know, we could call in their bid bond if they chose not to do it. That is also not a good option for us or for them. And they're a decent contractor that we would like to continue to do business with over the years. Have a few little odds and ends with grassing and a few things like that, but in general, they're a pretty decent contractor. So what Mr. Brown and I talked about was trying to work with them to figure out a way to come to something in between that would keep them on the job, keep the project moving, and be beneficial to Liberty County. So what we did is we sat down and went over several things with them to try to figure out what we could do to be able to construct this project, and construct it where we don't lose any integrity of the project and bring it in at a better price. After several rounds of looking at different options, they came back with an option that I agree with. It actually works better for us in the long run as far as the way the box culvert is built and the way it all works out. And they will reduce their contract by $214,000, which, I think they're pretty much giving up all their profit and just trying to get this project where we can get it constructed. So basically, what we would end up doing is revising the change order number 1, which reduced the optional cofferdam and reduced the price of the optional cofferdam from $610,155 to $396,155. So what I'd like to do is just recommend that we do that. I'll try to answer questions for you, and let me back up. Mr. Brown I have also looked at it. We have identified funding that will make the difference up so that we do have funding for this. We are also requesting additional or supplemental funds from FEMA. Now, that may take several months to get, and the contractor we have a couple of months of just upfront things we got to do before they can get started on the project, which the timing should work out well for that. And then, that way the contractor really not going to get started until probably the fall, but we'll be done. This project won't take that long. Once they show up and cut the road open and get the road open back up, it's going to be a fast and furious project to get it done.
You identified some available funding, Mr. Brown?
We knew, if you think about it, this project, we applied for this grant 3 years ago, I guess.
It's been a while.
2 years ago. When we did, we had drainage funds that were left in some old sales tax accounts, and we earmarked those because we knew we were going to need a match. And so those are there.
Yes, okay.
Yes, sir, those are there.
Okay.
Mr. Long, as Mr. Brown had spoke earlier before the meeting got started, this is hurricane season. What would be the worst scenario if they get started?
Well,
And
you're exactly right. And I'm going to jump ahead because I think I'm anticipating your question is when we do decide to get started, we need to be looking ahead at what storms are brewing, even off the coast of Africa. Where are we when we get started? We need to make sure that the contractor has all the materials on site and is ready to rock and roll when he decides to go forward. Excuse me. Now, the way he's going to build it, there'll be a small cofferdam on either side that's going to keep it dry in the middle where he's working on it. So you'll have wide open, and for the most part, you're going to have at least our current double 9x9 box culvert plus a 60-inch pipe on the side to take the water during a storm event. Now, it's going to have to build up enough to get over about a 4 or 5 foot high cofferdam. So you got a little bit of that, but once it hit, the hurricane's going to just fly by that right away. So if we get hit by a hurricane, we still got at least the same capacity that we have now when it gets here. So the only thing we'll need to make sure of is that there are availability of riprap and other reinforcement to stabilize any areas that may tend to want to erode along the edge of the bank as the water is approaching and departing the box culvert. So there are ways to go about doing it, but we are kind of aware that we're going to be doing it in the rainy season, so to speak. And so we do want to make sure that, all right, when we're ready, we have everything. What does the weather look like? All right, let's hit it and go. And we have already talked about that to some extent. Sorry.
So that equals to a backup plan for evaluation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir. Because and we need to be done with this in a certain time with our FEMA funds as well.
Okay.
So this will work well to go ahead and get done. But,
Okay.
I'm hoping we're not going to get caught by a hurricane, but, you never know.
Yeah.
But we just have to be careful and plan accordingly
Yes,
when
sir.
we do get ready to get started.
Please do.
Yes, sir.
Please
I'm
do.
sorry, and I'm sorry that I cut your question off, but I think I interpreted what you were trying to ask.
No.
Still got 7?
Can Mr. Dodd just confirm it's going to be a very active year, so we're going to make sure we put
Yes, sir.
everything in place to
Yes,
to
sir.
ensure public safety. If we pull
We
the trigger
definitely
for
don't wanna
evacuation,
have
they need
to-
to be able to evacuate.
That's right. We don't want to leave anybody down on that end.
No,
Nope.
no.
This is actually called a change order.
Yes, sir. So what'll end up happening is we'll rescind the change order 1 that we approved when we awarded the contract, and then award a change order that changes the the cofferdam line item from $610,155 to $396,155.
All right, Chair, entertain a motion.
Yeah, I make that motion that we allow for the change order as presented by Mr. Long for the amount $396,155, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Second to the motion.
Second.
Motion and second, we approve the proposal present, Mr. Long, so you can plan all this, get started and have everything in place that we can possibly do to make sure that the safety of our citizens is protected,
Yes, sir.
as well as and protect, as you said, the integrity of the project.
Yes, sir.
Those two.
Most certainly.
Okay.
We were not going to do anything that was going to jeopardize the
No,
integrity.
sir, please don't.
Trent, I see the box culvert is 10 by 10.
Yes, you'll have a new double 10 by 10.
Okay, so the width of the road
So
is,
the new box culvert's going to be,
how many?
the new box culvert's going to be, I did it one lump sum. I think the box culvert's like 70 feet long. Because I've got to make it a little bit longer on the upstream side,
Right.
so that when I get ready to do the downstream side, I can move the traffic over and keep trafficability.
So in the end, the road, the width of the road and the culvert will be about the same?
The width of the road will be the same. The culvert on the north side will extend beyond what it does now. And on the south side, or the downstream side, it will extend just a little bit further south, but not a lot further south.
I was just thinking, somewhere down the line, we have talked about widening that road, and that's gonna be an issue.
Yes, sir. Actually, what'll end up happening, depending on how many lanes we end up with right there, with the width that we have now, we could very easily have 3 lanes, if not 4 lanes, over it with what we've got planned.
Over that culvert. It would
Yes,
be
sir. Now, I can't do a rural section where I got 2 lanes of green space and 2 lanes. But I can do several lanes, and I'll have a little jog to get over it, but yes, sir, I can make that happen.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, show of hands, please. All right. It's
Thank you.
approved, sir. Flemington Village Boulevard signalization.
Yes, sir. There has been a proposal brought before to the commissioners to assist with the Flemington Village Boulevard traffic signal. I gave you another little layer that's in the back, and there is this was designed and permitted through DOT by Marcus Sack. This shows you kind of what's planned to go right there. There will be a red light there.
Trent, you may as well go ahead and basically acclimate others of us where that is.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry about that. So when you are leaving Hinesville, going toward McCleary's Curve, where the new subdivision on the right goes to Flemington Forest, It's kind of halfway between Panera and Parker's, or halfway between Panera and Mike Reed. It's on the right side. You'll see a road where a bunch of new houses are being built back up in there. That's where there's going to be, planned to be a new Chick-fil-A and a new Publix is going right there. So they're installing a traffic signal. I've actually seen the plans for the Chick-fil-A. I hadn't seen the plans for the Publix yet, but I've seen snippets of it. So it's going to be kind of busy right there when they get through. So they're planning to do a traffic signal, and the developer's done some work on it already, and the proposal is for Liberty County to install the traffic signal, and there's a few geometric things that the county would need to do to make that occur. So if it's your pleasure, it would cost the county about $300,000 of construction funds, a little bit of engineering to kind of pull it together and get it inspected and get through the process. What we'd end up having to do is put out a request for proposals for a contractor to do the work. A lot of the work is already kind of in place and in swing. The poles that go with the signals are already on order, so those would get incorporated into the contract, and we would have a much shortened time frame to build a signal. So that being said, if it's your pleasure and you guys would like to participate in this, like I said, you know, your cost is about $300,000 to do that.
Who's the developer?
Josh Wheeler is one of the main guys, and I'm trying to say the name of the group. This SEI Development is the name of the development group that's doing it. They're the ones that did the development for the Publix and for the Chick-fil-A.
All right. Commissioner Walden, is this something you'd like to speak to, sir?
I just say help, need some help, need some money. But I can see where that light would benefit everybody that's going through there, especially the traffic coming out of that school. They'll at least be able to, the buses won't have to make such a sharp turn there. They can go ahead and pull on down to the light, or it'll be flashing for the crossing guards. It looks like there's gonna be crosswalks in there, so I think it, on the safety side of it, it'd be a great thing to have, and may be able to alleviate some of the bottleneck between there and the Presbyterian Church and the old VA, the hospital.
How far is that intersection, Trent, from Panera Bread, where the light's gonna go at?
It's right at a quarter of a mile from the red light at General Scriven Way. Stewart. Sorry, General Stewart. I got my generals backwards. Is that what you asked me? I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand the word.
Intersection right here where this light is going at, coming out of that subdivision, right? That's where it's gonna come out at, right, for the Publix?
Yeah, there's a subdivision that is back in the backside of Flemington Village.
Right, but between there and, you're right, Wallace Martin Road,
Oh,
How
yeah,
far?
Wallace Martin Road. Yeah, that's about a quarter of a mile.
quarter of a mile.
Yes, sir. Yeah, DOT doesn't like to permit anything less than 1,320 feet like
So you're
that.
gonna have, so you're gonna have the light right there.
That's a quarter
and
mile.
You're gonna have the light right there, and then school crossing guard within the distance of a
Yes, sir.
quarter of a mile.
Yes, sir.
Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Well, Trent, the light would really help with the traffic for all the houses that's down in Flemington Village. This light would not be at the intersection of Wallace Martin, it's further down.
No, it's not at the intersection of Wallace Martin.
Right, that's what.
And one of the things that we see happening, I'm sorry.
To the west of this T intersection, across 84, the left-hand side, there's no road over there.
No, sir.
So it's just gonna be a three-way.
just gonna be a
three-sided light,
three-way.
Three-sided light.
That's correct.
And this side of the light is where Panera Bread and Wallace Martin is.
That's correct.
Okay, then you go further down, and that's the three-sided traffic light that would help convey the traffic coming out of Flemington Village and the new shopping center that's proposed to be built there. So
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir. And we do see a lot of traffic turning left off of Flemington Village. It's having a hard time getting in the morning.
Well, I know, when we have to go down to Flemington Village, because we got, part of that's in the city of Flemington, part of it's in the city of Hinesville. And when I come out of there certain times of the day, I go toward, the Performing Arts Center and loop around, because you can't make a left coming out of there.
So Trent, there'll be another, it looks like a red light right in front of Parker's in
Yes, ma'am.
McMurray's curve? Okay.
And that's what's under construction now.
That one's under construction, and then they'll
And
hopefully get this one. Were we going to, as far as the funding,
That's what I'm waiting on the,
was that
My commissioner
something
done
splossed, or was that something in our combined road, major road projects that we
Well,
could get that money out of?
I'm dedicating,
Or T-splossed?
money out of my sales tax to help with it. Because the road will eventually come out of there and go straight across and cross the canal and go down Wallace Martin. So if you've got that light there now, when you pull up 284, it'll be a light that eventually you'll be able to go straight across and turn in on Wallace Martin Road and go to the school.
Oh, okay, I see what you're
And
saying.
this is kind of a preliminary thing. Now, I hadn't seen any drawings on the other side of it, and there may be some, but I understand that was about the only way to straighten that out where you can utilize it, so.
Yeah,
With
and
it-
then do it maybe with the crossing guards.
Right,
if the
that's
buses come through
There
that way.
was some talk of what Eddie just said, in a Hampton meeting a few years ago, Joe, that you would come out of Flemington Village and go straight across and then cross the canal and be at Wallace Martin. You know, so that's, but I think that, this is an improvement that would help with the traffic, congestion, going out that way. Probably something that, all of us should, consider funding. I've talked with Eddie about it, it's in his district, and, I'm willing
That's my route.
to participate in it, you know, just to help so that we can, you know, it's a benefit for the entire county, so
Yeah,
I'm willing to help.
I'm willing to help some. I believe I got some in one of them.
I
Regular
seen
splost or
the
T-splost.
report, Connie, I know you got some.
Just a little bit now. We don't know
let's-
how to name numbers right
Just
now.
divide it. I mean, who don't want to participate? I'm gonna participate.
If we all put some money in, it'd be less than
Yeah,
50
there's
grand.
6 of us here and a chairman,
Seven.
so divide it, Joyce.
7
Use your
by-
calculator.
350.
you want to ask him nicely?
Just do it in your head.
Well, yes, that's the first time I ever seen somebody spend marriage money.
Well,
I know, I said that's the first time I
No,
ever seen
I'll
somebody
tell you
spend money. You've seen me spend, you spent mine, and you've seen me spend
Yeah,
mine. No, but
let's not just assume, so, and the commissioners,
it ain't my money, it's.
45,000.
Right, see, I did
45?
that without a cut.
Yeah.
You heard me. I
45
said
apiece.
44. That was without a
Take,
cut.
take that out, ARPA on mine.
I was a little short.
I got that price, 45 apiece.
45.
all right, commissioners, I need to hear from you. I don't need to.
I'm making a motion that everybody give 45.
Well, I
your motion?
want to hear everybody say they're gonna.
That's your,
I got a commissioner to my left right here. I know he has some projects, and so.
I mean, but
let's
if
make it.
that's your
Let's
motion, and
let it be
everyone don't
clear.
vote for it, so what?
Huh?
Never mind, I'm messing with you.
I'm in.
Yeah.
45.
Commissioner-
I'm in.
I'm in
I'm
on
in.
it.
I
45.
vote, yeah, I think,
Maxie, can we depend on you? Thank you.
you might get to a meeting on time, Maxie. Get that red light up there.
We'll go ahead and.
Either be real late.
Honestly, I like this traffic light position more than the one on McLary's curve. I'm still trying to figure out that one. Coming around a curve,
Yeah.
it's like almost a block. I don't know.
Trying to get in out of that Sunbury Road.
Let it.
I mean, I
Of course, we'll bring
understand.
it back to you, then you can look at
Yeah.
the actual price.
Okay.
Okay.
You're making a motion tonight just to let us let the project.
All right. And, you know, and I had some conversation with Joey when I heard about it, and I had to remind myself that we did the assistance at
Midway,
Midway to help the,
Oh, yeah.
Burger
Yeah.
King.
Burger King,
yeah.
McDonald's.
And so it winds up being a help, you know, and of course, then the county gets to reap the sale taxes from the shopping center, and the citizens there,
Yes.
we'll be able to get out, you know, be able to get out, so once
Well, I appreciate it. It is in my district, but it's in the city limits of Flemington.
yeah.
But,
And I did ask Joey that question, were they participating? I think he told me they had the.
well, I don't know if they're participating or not. I really and truly
I think
don't
they
know
are.
it. And, I don't care. I'm saying, I drive by so much that at least 4 or 5 times a day. And
What? You got a lot of time with you.
I do. I make sure we go down there. Me and Gary goes do it every Friday, going that way.
Yeah. Now, let me say this
But
now.
I go to the wood yard and come back a bunch of times.
Yeah, but you know, let's give them the opportunity to participate, you know, that lessens the 45 to something else. If they obligated, otherwise they can't, then they can't, but let's at least ask Flemington, you know, it's in,
I mean, I
most
agree
in the
with
area.
Sheriff, but with all due respect, this is live, so they probably already know that we're gonna
Yeah.
participate, so this is gonna be no.
Yeah.
But we're gonna
Let's
move
at
right
least-
along,
let's at
either
least.
way.
Because at Midway project, Midway participated in that, it wasn't just
Yeah.
the county, yeah, wasn't just the county. Like I said, I don't know what the dollars are, how obligated they are, but let's at least have the conversation, you know. I'm not talking about a lot of money here, if we add another partner to it.
Not supporting what's gonna go on Walmart. I think it's $4 million.
Yeah. Yeah. All right,
Yes, sir. So,
Somebody gonna ask them, Joe?
I'm asking, bro. Yeah.
And if, let us know, because if not, we still gonna do it.
Mr.
But we got time. We're gonna go ahead and let the project anyway.
okay. So I'm gonna let the project,
Yes, sir.
so I'm good to go ahead and let. Okay.
Where did I get with the motion and a second? Where did I get?
We just need a motion and a second to
Okay.
let the project.
All right,
Just
motion and
let
a second to
the
let,
project.
okay.
I'll make the motion.
All right, second, all right. We heard the discussion already, but good. We're gonna speak to Flemington and get feedback. All in favor, show of hands, please. All right. Yes,
Thank you
this
very
will be a
much.
great improvement to,
I just think we have to negotiate
yeah,
our
great improvement.
All right, did we get through all 10?
Yeah, you good. All right. I'm doing something else. You better go.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
Oh, wait a minute, Trent. Wait a minute, now, hold it. What about the grass on Bill Carter?
Talk about that?
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we probably need to talk about that, because that's all I
Yeah, probably gonna have to pull that dirt up and put some different kind of salt on it. Okay, okay, all right.
All right, we're item 6, resolution issues from bonds for Liberty County Health Department, Trey Monroe and David Lucas.
Actually, Trey's here. He
I was
able
gonna
to
say, I
make
don't
it
see
out of
David
the-
Lucas.
Make it out of the storms in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And, Trey's here to talk to you about the bonding for the health department that you approved at your last meeting, and discuss, what's needed there, which tonight would be action to authorize or request the facilities authority to issue the bonds for that project.
Okay. Hello, sir.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good to see you all again. Yeah, I think as Joey mentioned, tonight before you is just a resolution to request the Public Facilities Authority to issue revenue bonds on behalf of the county to finance the construction of the new health department. So it doesn't set in stone any final terms of those bonds. We would obviously come back at a later date once the bonds were ready to sell with final par amount, interest rates, debt service, all of that. But the way that it's been structured is to fit within the parameters of the SPLOST that was approved, I guess it was about a year ago. And so that's the idea. As far as a schedule, we're looking to, I believe, have these bonds ready to sell probably by the end of the month, or first part of August, and then we would be back before the council, the commission, right around, I think, probably your first meeting in August to approve the bonds, and then they would close at about the end of August, maybe first week of September, which I think lines up pretty well with the schedule for the beginning of the construction. So again, that's just the resolution tonight is just the initial authorization to ask the Facilities Authority to move forward with the bond issue. But I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any question, Mr. Lucas?
Well, we didn't hear a rate.
No, he said he'd bring that back to us.
You don't know what the rate's gonna be yet?
Well, I don't know to the penny what it would be, because that, we won't know that until the bonds are actually priced, and that'll be about a month from now. If we were to sell them today, the rate would be about 3.8%.
He will.
Well, we might need
As
to
y'all
sell them
remember.
today. We need to sell them today.
Yeah,
That's a good rate, but yes.
yeah, we will get them ready as fast as possible.
The funny thing about it, 10 years ago, we would have left at that rate. It's just the timing. Oh,
Yeah,
trust me,
it's
I
all
get
about
it.
timing,
Like,
there's no-
hey, I would love that rate right now. I guarantee you. But what I'm saying is, 10 years ago, when we were doing a project, it was
It'd be 1%.
right. I remember those. So we're like, wow. But
Mr. Chairman, you ready for a motion?
Then we refinance.
Yeah. I make a motion, we approve the resolution for the issuance of the bonds for the health department.
Second.
Motion and second, we approve the resolution as presented. Mr. Lucas, any further discussion?
Now, that was at 3,
well, no.
To-
roughly?
Well, no, so I was gonna say that, this is just the first step in the
Right.
process. All you're doing is ask the facilities authority
To move
do
forward.
the bond issuance for you. And then they'll go out and they'll price the bonds, he'll actually have to come back, and he'll have a guarantee, or pretty much a guaranteed rate at that time, within a real close window, and you'll take a separate action to go ahead and move to authorize the bonds.
Yes.
Can you walk out that door and come right back?
I wish I could. I wish I could. Yeah, so like we've done on all of the past big capital projects, the airport, Justice Center, the fire and EMS, and the, I'm missing one. Sorry, but,
Was it?
yeah,
he
so
said Justice
there'll be an
Fire
intergovernmental
EMS.
contract. Hang on, I'll tell you.
What is the other thingy? Justice-
Airport, Justice Center, Fire and EMS, Public Works.
Public Works, that's right, that's right.
Public Works was last year.
That's right.
So there'll actually be an intergovernmental contract between the county and the Public Facilities Authority that secures the bond, and that contract will set forth the final terms of the bond. So we will have to come back to the commission for your approval of that contract once all of the numbers are finalized.
Okay.
And that's what'll happen probably your first meeting or so in August.
Okay, not long. All right, all in favor, show of hands, please. All right, all in favor?
See, I told you, man. It'd be him. It'd be him.
Thank you, Mr. Lucas.
Thanks very much.
Look forward to seeing you in a little more than a month or so.
Yes.
Just before you leave, and Joey, you can piggyback on this. We reviewed our bonds with, on the Justice Center, didn't we?
Well, you've had, I believe we've refinanced. I believe we've refinanced those twice during their period of time. Once when the rates dropped down real low.
We did.
And we actually, I think, refinanced that and also lumped in another refinance for part of the airport bonds at the same time.
Yeah, so in 2020, we refinanced the Justice Center and actually restructured it so that it pays out fully during the term of this SPLOST. So it will be, the Justice Center will be paid for by the time that this current SPLOST ends, 2029.
Hallelujah.
And just for clarification, we paid that building off in how many years?
I think it was originally a 2010, maybe. So it was about, it'll be about a 19-year, 18 or 19 years.
Okay.
if I'm remembering correctly, which is pretty good for a,
Yeah, that
30,
was a-
40-year asset. So.
And that's what I was gonna ask you, not trying to get in the weeds, but, and I know you deal with a lot of municipal buildings in different, communities from here to the metro. Is that on average, most, communities or pay them off in that time, or do they spread it out a little bit longer?
Yeah, I think it varies widely. It's really down to a matter of preference by the board that's bringing those facilities out of the ground at the time. Some counties elect to finance those kinds of assets over 30 years because they know they're going to have that building for 30 years, and they want to spread the cost of that building out over a very long period of time. On the other hand, lots of counties prefer to do it in chunks like y'all have done with the sales tax. And I mean, that, nobody wants, I mean, if you didn't have to do 30-year debt, nobody likes to do it unless you have to,
But there's also good debt and bad debt, and especially, especially whenever you get like great interest rates. Like,
well, yeah, I
like
mean,
we've
when
had
it's,
in the past.
and even now, if you look historically, it's been a long time. Not many folks remember, but I've been around a little while, and there was a time when it would cost a county 5%, 6%, 7% to do a 5-year financing.
Right.
So we're still in an extremely good environment to do long-term, large capital projects, at least in my opinion. So.
Good to hear.
Have we used any of that, Joey, on the water system? How about I think the tower in McIntosh, or the one by, how did we that was an agricultural grant?
We got a FEMA grant.
Well, McIntosh County got agricultural grant or something like that from the state. They put them all the way around on, I'm talking about built water systems that
Oh,
go
water.
on the ridge when
Yeah,
you
yeah,
leave
yeah.
and go straight across all the way around. That's what I was wondering. I mean, our next, if we get to put in another well, we might need to look at doing that. Financing it. That's all I had.
All right, sir. Thank you, Mr. Lucas.
Thank you.
You driving back tonight?
I am, yeah.
You are? Have a safe drive, my friend. Yes, sir. Thank you for coming. As I said, bring the good news back with you. This is already good news that we have been doing the project, so we appreciate that. Yeah.
Health is wealth.
Yes, sir. Mr. Brown,
Just a quick update. You're pretty much, I didn't bring any picture shows tonight, but I will next time. Road Department continues to move along. If you've been down there, you know that. You've been by that site. So, it's right on schedule. They've got most of the sections poured outside, and then work continues on the inside, so it's going well. Miller Park Station, Chief Darby and I were talking this afternoon, as a matter of fact. Gonna look at where he is at the punch list, where they are. They've done all the landscape. He can finish that, but may try to do a ribbon cutting. We'll check everybody's schedules during the month of August.
Okay.
Is just kind of what it's looking like for that.
okay.
You know about the health department there. The contracts are being executed right now on that, and then you'll go through a period of time, obviously, for ramp up. We'll need to talk about a dirt digging down there too. You'll need to get some of that site cleared first. So if I'm guessing, I would think that'd probably happen in August also.
Okay.
Towards Labor Day, which would be good. We did take proposals on the pavilion at Miller Park. We had 4 that were deemed to be compliant. So the committee's rated those. Mr. Long is actually checking references on one of them right now, and I know we were with Mrs. Spada today, and she's going back to take a look at the MWBE. So I anticipate bringing that to you at your next meeting, hopefully for that pavilion.
That's all you want to say?
I think so.
Numbers, I was thinking, yeah, numbers.
Well, yeah, it's more than the number, so I better not disclose that.
That's why you didn't say it.
But you remember, we did have money built in ARPA for that. You
We
did put
did.
money over there, and then that's gonna be matched with, sales tax 7 money of rec. So it's funded.
It's
Let me say
funded,
that.
yeah.
Yes, Ryan, I can say that to you.
But
And the reason I don't say the numbers, I don't remember.
But we
the
talk
number
so
right
much
now.
about how expensive they are to build now. That's why we were
Oh, no,
kind
it was
of.
cheaper.
Well,
It was cheaper.
well,
It
good.
was in the low three.
Well,
in the
good.
300s, yeah. It was in the 300s. I think the last one came back at
On the same model? same-
4999,
same-
same exact
Really?
plan.
Yeah?
No changes
No change.
to it at all.
I thought it was like six. I know.
Half a million.
Nah, I think it was like 4999.
Four something, yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, no
About
changes.
$500,000.
Hey, let's see.
No changes to
Wow,
it.
it's just-
The EMS administration facility is going through some final comments back to plan reviewers at the city. No problems. I anticipate getting those cleared this month and everything probably out for bid, ready to bid for that project at the end of this month, which will be good. And then the Hounsville bypass, all that's in the works. It's due for a new letting date now in August, actually. Probably will be September, but it's due this fall sometime, which will be great, so.
So, Ms. Brown, the construction they're doing at the Walmart and Lowe's, that is for the red light?
That is for that's intersection improvements.
For the city of Hinesville?
That's intersection improvements. The city is actually, that was one of the city designated projects
it was.
in the T-Splosh. The developer, actually Walmart's got money in it, the city's got money in it through their splosh allocation, and the developer for over by the
Top shelf or whatever.
top shelf is also participating in that project.
Mr. Brown, didn't we donate some money to Hinesville for that about 6, 7 years ago, about 25,000? We did.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Now, there was some money, maybe thinking about the intersection up there at South Main,
No, no.
because that is scheduled for some intersection improvements
We're
too.
not Walmart dealing with Lowe's.
Yeah, we ain't got
We
anything
did
reserved
something
for it.
there.
We did.
I remember, because Commissioner Gillard had brought it up about the distance from there down to the Walmart.
To the light.
And I
Could-
think
could
Billy
have.
was in there because we discussed a turning lane going into the Walmart.
Yeah.
You've slept since then, though, haven't you?
I don't remember that.
Mr. Brown, talking about the fire station, I passed by several times, and when they were putting the grass out, they were putting it out in water, the bird bath section. How's that's going to affect that grass? Is it going to really grow? Don't know.
I mean, it's warranted. If they have to come pull it back up, they can pull it back up and put down more sod. I mean, they pretty much, I know the section you're talking about, I came out of there that day too, but they pretty much had to lay it when they could lay it. I think I'd rather it be wet than dry to stand that, so hopefully it'll.
To this board, we need to go back and look at our blight ordinance on cleanup of Liberty County. We're talking about it growing, but also with that, ugliness of some places that we pass by, it's a shame. Also, Mr. Brown, did you ever make any progress on the signs or the decals on the side of the vehicles?
I know we were the youth were actually looking at a design. I'm not sure. Have not, okay, but we'll work on that.
Let's
I
see.
know some are decaled.
Let's see if we can't step that up just a little bit, okay? All right.
Decals on, okay. Oh, and Mr. Chair, just a quick question. Commissioner Stevens, you might want to get in contact with someone in Augusta. I know they have a committee up there, and they're knocking down houses, and I think they're finding some type of alternative funding for that. I give you a point of contact.
Well, I think Mr. Sprinkle is supposed to come to us the mid-month, Bob?
I don't know.
I
Yeah,
think he is.
actually, we had some conversation with him, about a week ago, wanted to talk about some things, but it was related to workforce housing.
Workforce housing, what, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So if you need a point of contact, I can give you one out there.
All right. That's all for good order, sir. All right. Chair entertaining a motion to go out of regular session into executive session for land acquisition, consultation with legal counsel.
And also personnel.
Personnel.
Thank you.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Within this executive session,
Oh, I'm sorry. Chair Tatum, motion to come out of executive session back in the regular session? Second.
Who's the second? Commissioner Stevens? Okay.
All in favor, show of hands. Now back in the regular session.
Yes, sir. Before you tonight is a memorandum of understanding with the sheriff concerning the school zone camera program. This agreement's previously been presented in a public meeting, but decision's been continued. And so tonight I ask that after reconsideration, the board adopt the MOU and authorize the chairman to execute it. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. But again, this was previously discussed in a public session.
All right, Chair, entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve the MOU with the Sheriff's Department.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, we approve the MOU as presented by our county attorney. Further discussion?
Just one thing.
Okay, all right, sir.
One thing, Mr. Chairman. And Kelly, as you know, I've always been in favor of a MOU, and I'm glad we finally got to this point. And you know, I'm going to support the signing of it, but we also still going to wait and receive the findings from the compliance audit, which we'll discuss that at a later date. But the MOU, as written back in April, I said that that's something that we needed, something that we should have had from the start. And I'm glad we, to this point right now, that we are ready to sign it if we get enough support.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Chair, I just want to state, just moving forward, I would love for us to get some type of recommendation from ACCG, also from NACO on this particular matter, and then also get our state representatives and our state senator involved just to find out from the state level. Let's just be more uniform, and you know, just the conversations that we've been having. Different counties have been doing it differently. Municipalities been doing it differently, and I just want to make sure that we have more clarity on this law, because its interpretation is pretty vast. So I will, just moving forward, I would just ask for that, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We'll do our best. I'll reach out as I have, but I'll reach out to some other organizations as well. But I'm afraid that there's no uniformity for a reason. But I think the agreement you have before you is the best path forward for all parties, and I strongly recommend it.
Yeah, well, this MOU makes ours pretty clear.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we need. The other 158, they could do what they want to do. But we got this.
They don't have. All right, good. All in favor? Opposed?
Opposed to the MOU?
I am.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, folks, and have a happy 4th.
Right.
Motion to adjourn?
Thank you.
Who made the adjournment?
I did.
Okay, second.